What is up, guys? Welcome back. Sorry about that. My freaking internet was stuffed. Yeah, my internet was absolutely stuffed. Oh wow, look at this. I just realized this is still in my hair. If you saw the last video, this is what I was making in the last video, and I've decided to attach it to my hair. Oh yeah, shit, sorry. Don't mind me, guys. I literally just realized that my echo was on. But yeah, welcome back to the live, guys. Shout out to anyone who's watching. Hope you're having a freaking great time wherever you are. And today I wanted to talk about some harsh truths, as you can tell from the title. I got through majority of my points in my last video, so if you do want to see some of my other points that I made in my last video, definitely go check that out. But a pre-warning that if you are easily triggered, or if you are easily put on edge when people bring real perspectives and shit like that, then this may not be the video for you, love. So, if you're easily triggered, or if you're not accountable as an individual and you don't take accountability for your own actions, then, it may be a bit of a difficult video for you to watch. So, have that self-awareness, have that, that ability to know, and try, adjust based on what your needs are, and whether or not you really need to be watching this video if you're someone that's easily triggered. So that's a little bit of a preface before I get into this video, but more so that might apply to the other part of the video. This may be a little bit more softer for for not for any particular reason really, but this is just going to be softer because I got through a lot of my other points in my other videos. So yeah, anywho, let's get straight into it. So some harsh truths, guys. A lot of harsh truths that I could talk about in this video, but I want to keep it generally to a similar point. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get straight into a lot of the ones that a lot of people generally want to be associated or thinking about, because a lot of people want to pursue their dreams. What's going on with my signal? A lot of people want to pursue their dreams. A lot of people want to pursue lots of different things in their life, but when it comes to the things that it actually takes for you to pursue that, a lot of people are not necessarily ready for that, because in order to actually pursue or go for your dreams, it takes for you to actually be able to restrict certain things out of your life, to make certain sacrifices in your life that a lot of people aren't ready to make, because a lot of people are still stuck in their old ways. And no judgment, I'm not trying to shame anyone for, because if you're an individual and you're aware that you're still stuck in these ways, then you already know this. So this is not necessarily for someone like you, because you already know that you're still somewhat stuck in these kind of old paradigms and old things in your life. And so therefore, this is more for people who aren't aware of it necessarily, or maybe have a little bit of an awareness of it, but not the full kind of circumference, the full aspect of what I'm about to get into. So, generally my videos are actually for people like me, so, because for me in the past, I was aware of a lot of these things, but I wasn't necessarily fully aware in ways that I'm aware of now. And so it's definitely different coming from this perspective that I'm at now, as opposed to the perspective that I was normally in the past. So sorry, I want to give a preface too, for anyone who's watching my videos, because I know, for me being a Gemini sun, there can be certain times where people will hear me talk and they'll be like, this guy, can you hurry up and get to the point type of vibe. But for me, I tend to feel like the point needs all of those prefaces at certain times, I do try my best, don't get me wrong. I do try my best to get more to the point, but a lot of the time, the points that I do want to make requires me to even go through this whole lengthy um, thing that a lot of people may listen and be like, "This guy, just get the hurry the fuck up." But you know that's something that I'm working on myself. So bear with me because I'm learning too. We're all learning in this whole freaking school of life. So it's not necessarily about um, being perfect, or getting to that certain end goal as soon as you possibly can, which is something that I had to learn in order for me to even get up and make videos. Because my whole thing, I was always quite a perfectionist. And that's one thing that I had to make a sacrifice in when it comes to starting to pursue the things that I wanted to pursue in life. Because I was so focused on, no, I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted it to be this. And that's, a lot of people may not be ready to actually accept that, you're not going to be able to get it to that perfect point that you want to in order for you to be able to finally do the thing that you wanted to do. Like really what it takes is the conviction, the willpower for you to actually do that. And you can make up as many excuses as you actually want, but at the end of the day, you still just choose to sit in your shit. You still just choose to not pursue something due to it not being perfect and so on and so forth. So that's something that, a lot of people might not want to hear because you may think, oh, well, no, as soon as I get X, Y, and Z done, then I'll be able to do this thing. As soon as I do this, then I'll be able to do this. And, that's not necessarily the case. I won't move this here. That's not necessarily the case. Actually, it's quite far from the truth. Don't get me wrong. It can help for you to actually have things in your life. It can help for you to have that little setup, that little foundation for yourself. It helps for all of those things to be in place. But it becomes a hindrance when you're constantly doing that. And a lot of people are constantly doing that, myself included a lot in the past. And even in certain small increments, I might catch myself doing this in the present. Where you're, oh, as soon as I get this done, as soon as I get X, Y, and Z, as soon as I have a job, as soon as I have a blah, 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 as soon as I have, that can help 100%. So I don't want to sit here and shame anyone, make you feel less than because you're in that mindset as well. Because that's the last thing I would want to do on my channel. But at the same time, I can't be in control of everyone's emotion. Some of the things that I might say might come across in certain ways. So I just got to have that awareness for those kind of individuals as well. But what's it called? When it comes to, let me check. I want to check if we're still good, guys. Some of the things that I might say might come. Okay, we good. We good. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. I just wanted to check because it looked like our signal was going out, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, can you guys even hear me? Am I just talking to nobody? But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because for me, it's all about the energy. It's all about the intention and the energy work that you put in. So yeah, let me just get to my points. So yeah, a lot of people, in the in their life, in their everyday life, desire and want to achieve certain things, but like you don't actually necessarily have the equipment, mentally speaking, to actually endure those experiences. It's like that saying, like a lot of people will be familiar with this saying or this concept of God, universe, the source, or whatever your belief is, will not give you anything that you can't handle, and that is true. So when it comes to you not being able to pursue your dreams, when it comes to you having that restriction or that wall in front of you and the dream life, the dream goal that you want, it's because there's certain things that you might need to go through, that at this point in time you might not necessarily be able to handle or cope with. And I'll get into a further detail of what I'm actually talking about when it comes to this. But there's certain experiences, there's certain lack of experiences that are needed for you to actually go towards this path that you may not necessarily see as positive. So you're restricting or blocking yourself, or God, or all possibilities, or because I don't necessarily like the word God, I like to use the concept all possibilities, because all possibilities encompasses a wide range of things. It doesn't limit itself to one concept or one form, which God is kind of limiting to one form, because it's one word, one concept. I like to kind of refer to that as all possibilities, because that's more open, it's more broad, it's more closer to the concept of something that is like all encompassing, all powerful, all yeah. Anyways, if you want to check out my other YouTube videos, I go a little bit more into detail about why I talk about all possibility. But right now, I don't feel like this is necessarily the time. I may go into it later on in the video though. But just for purposes of me trying to get to my point of what I'm trying to talk about in this video specifically, that's why I'm gonna kind of wait a second with this kind of concept. So when it comes to, we got a notification. Does that mean no? We don't have a comment. Okay. Italy, what up? What up? Shout out to you. So yeah, a lot of people won't be able to go through the certain experiences that you're needing to go through in order to actually pursue your dreams. A lot of people just may see these as negative, or see these as not necessarily good, but all possibilities, God is really trying to show you that these things are actually more beneficial for you in life. And so it becomes like this kind of internal battle that you're having with this higher or greater power that is in existence, and you're communicating with. You're kind of battling against these certain circumstances that God is really trying to show you. And it may come in the form of many different things that you may not see as good. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky in life, because that's why people say, like, it's all about your mindset, it's all about your perspective. So when you're stuck in a mindset of thinking, X and Y experience is bad, then it becomes X and Y experience is bad. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because my freaking video is cutting off. I'm just click that off because that's becoming too much of a hindrance. You block yourself from the ability to be able to actually see how that experience is benefiting you, rather than, seeing it how you normally would see it, which is, oh, this experience is bad. This experience is showing me negative experiences, and whatever experience it may be. Let me get into an example. So in the past, I've experienced a lot of times where I've felt like I'd need to uphold a relationship, uphold a connection within my life, and thinking that if I don't uphold that relationship, if I don't uphold that connection, then that is negative. But in actuality, once I've actually been able to let go, upholding these certain relationships that I might see as beneficial for me, I started to realize that they weren't as beneficial as I initially thought. And so it becomes this kind of interesting circumstance where I'm like, okay, what I genuinely thought was good for me, life started to show me that it was actually the opposite. And this person that I thought that was actually supporting me and was there for me, life actually started to show me that they weren't, and they were actually against me more, or they didn't support me, but they weren't necessarily against me. This is what I was talking about in the other live, where I was freaking lagging and my internet started stuffing up. So it becomes like this tricky kind of thing that a lot of people would get lost into, because they'll be like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I need to uphold these relationships, I need to uphold these responsibilities, these X, Y, and Z. But, you know, like who said in the first place that upholding relationships, upholding responsibilities, or maintaining things was the way to go, was the right thing to do? Because if anything, a lot of the time when people tend to uphold these things all the time, especially the ones that, you know, hold them back, maybe you've got a partner that doesn't necessarily support your dreams. You know, they might not be against it, but they always have something to say against, you know, what you want to do. And so you kind of give them grace because that's your partner, of course, like fair enough. But at the same time, you sometimes can blind yourself from being able to see that they can be a hindrance in certain circumstances where you should be actually flourishing and expanding and growing like a beautiful butterfly that you freaking are, you know? So, so what's it called? It becomes it becomes hard for a lot of people, and I've seen it so many times, time and time again, with people getting in and out of relationship. That's why, like, I low key feel blessed a lot of the time that I haven't necessarily been in a lot of relationships, romantically wise, because it's saved me from certain circumstances. And that's not to say, I'm not saying that, you know, don't get me wrong. It's not to say that relationships itself are bad, because I know some people might hear me say that and then they'll be like, oh, he doesn't support relationships. He thinks relationships are negative. No, bitch. A man and a woman gets together to have a child. Like, you know, like those things are a part of life, a part of balance, a part of order and structure and all of those good shit. So we need to look at things. But, you know, without looking at them for what they are, then that's when you can start to become blinded and you start to kind of give too much grace to people in your life that necessarily don't actually support what you have going on or what you are trying to pursue and go towards. Also, anybody who's on my Twitch and on my Facebook, if you check in this corner here, here, this corner over here, this is my YouTube name. This is my YouTube name right here. Nothing to Mystar, because I know it can be a little bit of a something that can be difficult to remember, and YouTube kind of has me shadow banned because you can't actually search out my name unless you search, like, you literally have to type every single letter correctly of my name, otherwise it probably won't come up. So I decided to just chuck that on there because, like, it is actually weird. It's like YouTube doesn't want people to search up my name or some shit, but okay, go off. Slay Queen. Because, like, you know, you can search up anyone else. They don't even have to be famous. But most other people, you can search up, like, maybe just one word out of the name and they'll probably come up. But no, for me, it's like, oh, no, you've got to literally type every single letter correctly. Otherwise, bitch, like, it's not coming up. So that's just rigged. That is just rigged, bruv. I can already tell it's rigged. Rigged. So yeah, if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel, there's my YouTube channel down in the corner there. You'll be able to see when I go live, and you'll be able to click on notifications when I go live. If you're subscribed to me, well, you know, that's up to you. I'm not going to be that bitch that says subscribe if you like this video, because I don't feel like you need a reminder. I feel like if you genuinely want to subscribe or like my video, you will be led to do so. But for me to sit there and remind you, I just don't think that's necessary. You know, no shame to anyone who does feel like that's necessary, but just personally for me, I just don't see that as something necessary. And that goes to my other point, you know, like people, like a lot of people will think that, oh, maybe, you know, X, Y, and maybe this person in my life just needs that extra reminder. Maybe they just need to see, or like needs that like kind of nudge to push them towards supporting me, let's say. But like that's not necessarily the case. Like if someone wanted to support you, it wouldn't really matter what you do. Like if I wanted to support someone, there's certain points where like if I wanted to support someone, I don't even care what video you're posting. Like I'm gonna like it because I support you and I know you as a person, and I know that I'll support what you do. You know, like I might. But in terms of supporting you, like I'm gonna support you regardless. So when it comes to people who like know, especially if they know that you're really passionate about something and they don't support you, like that's, yeah, I definitely take that as a sign. So that's another thing. Like a lot of people will surround themselves with people every single day that, you know, they'll just say, oh, like well, they won't even say anything. Let's just say like you genuinely, like you're around a whole bunch of people and you're genuinely passionate about what you do and you talk about it all the time. So everybody knows that you do it. You know, it's not like a secret or anything. But like somehow a lot of those people, like they don't support you. They don't even have like, you know, they don't even have a dollar. You know, they don't even have this. They don't even have that. Like, because for me, if I had something, I'm gonna try my best. Like even if it's not money wise, because money, you know, some people might not have access or the privilege to give money. So, but if I had something, you know, I'll give it. Like whether that's a share or what. Like you need me to, like post it on my page or, you know, whatever the case may be, I'm gonna be there for you because that's, you know, that's who I am. I like to support people, especially if I support and I believe in what they're trying to do. Those are like that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try my best to ensure that you are successful because I'm all about people helping people succeed. But a lot of people, you know, you wouldn't be able to pursue or go through with certain things in your life because, you know, in order for you to actually go through that, it takes you to actually be able to see who's real for you, who's genuinely there for you, who's actually supporting you. It takes for you to be able to actually surround yourself with the right individuals, with the right mind states and the right whatever, you know, it takes for those kind of circumstances to be. Otherwise, you can't really blossom and flourish like um, like a tree, like a plant. You know, it takes a plant for it to be able to spread out its roots. It has to have the right kind of soil, the right kind of environment, the right kind of circumstances for that plant to actually flourish and grow in the way that it needs to. You know, some certain plants can survive in some other certain environments that may not necessarily be completely supportive, but when a plant is flourishing, that is when it's in its perfect environment. It has the right temperature, has the right amount of water, has the right amount of sun, you know. So you look at yourself as like this plant in a way. See, do you have the right perspectives, you know, like I say in this corner, like that corner somewhere, I don't even know where. Like that corner? Yeah, that corner. Sorry, I had to double check. Um, Look at yourself as similar to a plant in a way. You know, do you have the right nutrients? Do you have the right environment and the right soil to actually support and benefit your growth and your dreams? Or are you more surrounding yourself with people who don't actually resonate with your mind state, with your true state of being? Those things actually affect us and whether we want to, because I know there's a lot of spirits out there, myself included, that'll be like, oh well, no, yeah, it's not affecting me like that, it's not that bad, like I'm all good. But you know deep down, like as a especially if you're a wise spirit, you know deep down that yeah, it may not be affecting you that much, but keyword, that much. It's still affecting you, and you know it's affecting you. You know it's hindering you. But my thing is, and my harsh truth is here, is that it's affecting you a lot more than you realize. And it's actually holding you back in a lot more ways than you are privy to or aware of from your perspective as an individual. So that's really what I want to try and talk about today. A lot of people wouldn't be able to go through with the certain things. It requires you to limit your time with certain individuals in your life. It requires you to make sacrifices where you may just want to relax, you may just want to sit down, you may just want to do nothing and enjoy the fruits of your labor. But sometimes those are the certain times when you may actually need to work even harder towards the certain goals and dreams that you want. And so it becomes those kind of circumstances is what I'm talking about when it's talking about you needing to make certain sacrifices in your life, you needing to make certain things actually change in your life, and a lot of people, all the way down to a lot of the people in your life may be completely opposite to where your dreams and where your life wants to go. And you may know this as an individual, but then you would think, oh, well, it's okay. I can just, I'll just suck it up for now, and then maybe in the future I'll work towards X, Y, and Z. But like, if you've been like how you may be like young, you may be old, but at the end of the day, when you've got into this certain point, there's certain things that you had to sacrifice in order for you to get there. So same way you had to sacrifice for you to get to that point, if you wanted to get to another point, let's say your dreams, which could be the opposite of what point you're at this point, you're going to need to make quite a lot of the same amount of sacrifices in order for you to even get there. And meanwhile, people are still making sacrifices to get to the certain point that they're actually trying to get away from. So it becomes like this battle where you think that you're trying to work towards your dreams, but your actions are actually speaking louder than your words. Your actions are taking you in the complete opposite direction to where your dreams are actually supposed to be going. So that's what I'm talking about, that a lot of people may not be ready for and may get triggered by. So, and some people may hear that and may be like, that's not even that harsh, but it really goes a lot deeper than a lot of people realize. So that's where I wanted to make it simple first and then go deeper as I go deeper into the video. But yeah, I'm freaking loving this. I honestly just love the way that something twisted looks. I love the twisted shit. Don't know why I did that. It's not a song, I just made it up. Slay. So yeah, I don't know if you can see that properly, but because it's quite small. But this one's thicker. That one's thicker. You can see that more. It's like my hair. As you can tell, she's a bit of a twist. She loves the twist. So that's another reason why I even made this video, because I've been learning about twists. All kinds of twists. You got the spiritual twist, you got the physical twist, you got the emotional twist, where you've got twisted and tied up into a circumstance and a situation with a whole bunch of people, and now you're trying to pull yourself away from that circumstance, but you've twisted it so hard, right? You can't even pull. So you have to sit there and unravel each little freaking strand and fiber of that circumstance in order for yourself to even get to the point where you're untwisted. And if you're trying to get to your purpose or your goals and the way you want to do in your life, you're trying to make a whole new twist. Meanwhile, a lot of people are still in that circumstance where they're actually having to undo the first twist that they did in order to even start to twist the other twist, which the other twist is representing your purpose, and the first twist is representing the whole bunch of circumstances and situations in your life that you actually manifested in order to steer you away from your purpose. So this becomes like weird for a lot of people, because then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, why can't I pursue my dreams? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And it's because you become so twisted and entangled into people, places, and things. But you always need to look at things simple. Always look at things simple. Our life is always a choice based on, or a result based on the choices that we have made as individuals. I don't care where you've come from, or where you're going, or what you might have been through. You know, grace, like, big respect to people who have actually been through shit, because I don't want to make you feel any like less than because you've been through shit. But you can't use that as an excuse. We're coming into 2025 now. What are you actually doing with your life? You know, are you making up excuses, or are you making up solutions? And I like to be around people who make up solutions rather than excuses and bullshit reasons about why they're still stuck in their circumstance. Because I've been in that energy myself for the majority of my life. I've been making up excuses. I've been making up reasons of why I've been in my circumstance. I'm now at a point in my life where I'm making up solutions. I'm all about solutions, how to solve circumstances, how to bring solutions into the circumstance. I'm not making up excuses, or, you know, pointing the finger and blaming at other people because this person didn't give me X, Y, and Z, because this person didn't support what I wanted to do in my life, and so on. Like, that shit is beyond, like, I'm beyond that shit at this point, because I know that that just breeds more excuses. That just breeds more circumstances for you to point the finger and blame someone else. That just breeds more reasons for you to not pursue your dreams. And like I was saying in the last part of this video, at part 1, actions always speak louder than words. So you can say all you want to say, but if you're constantly going through the same circumstance every single week, you need to look at your actions and know that that is really what you want. And that's when it comes to real self-accountability, that a lot of people don't want to hear. And a lot of people will just click off this video because they'll be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, I know a lot more than you may think I know. But, you know, your willingness to accept and have an open ear to be able to hear someone else's perspective, that is your ability to be able to know what I'm talking about right now. Because really, I'm talking about something that we're all aware of. We're all aware that we have certain things and circumstances in our life that we can say, yeah, this is because of this. This is because of that. But how many times do you have to do that before you realize that that's not bringing any solutions? That's not bringing anything to the table. That's not bringing anything that's going to help you to grow and evolve. It's just going to make you end up in bullshit more and more. It's going to make you end up just telling yourself, oh, well, this is just how things are. This is just how things should be. No, it's not how things are, and it's not how things should be in life. How things should be is how you should make them be. So always remember that you are a product of your choices, and you can sit around and blame other people. And, you know, it's not about to say as well that they are not the reason to why things are the way that they are. Both can be true. Things are a product of your choices, and they can be the reason why they are the way that they are. But you need to have that self-accountability to know that it all boils down to your choices. Because someone can be abusive, or someone can be manipulative. But if you just constantly stay around them, even though you know they're abusive and manipulative, then who's the real bad guy? Who's the real person that needs to look in the mirror? At the end of the day, they're at a point where all they know how to do is manipulate and abuse. If you're a wise spirit and you're able to see that they're a manipulative and abusive person, then whose fault is it when things come, when the tables turn, or when things come crashing down, and now you're left having to pick up the pieces because this person only knows how to be manipulative and abusive? At the end of the day, you're the wiser individual. You're supposed to be thinking for others around you, rather than expecting them to think for something that you know that they don't think about. They don't think that way. They don't see things that way. So how are you going to sit around and wait for them to see things the way that you see them? That's you. So that's where a lot of people need to get out of their ego and realize that you're the person who's supposed to be enacting that into the world. You're the person who's supposed to be putting up those boundaries and saying no to those circumstances, not them. What kind of ego do you have to be in to expect someone who's constantly a manipulative individual to not be a manipulative individual? Like, what? That's some backwards ass thinking right there. So you need to kind of realize that if you are stuck into that mind state, and no shame to you, because I've been guilty of this myself. Otherwise, why would I know how to talk about this so much? So always look at it from that perspective. When someone's talking about something and they know the ins and outs, they know all the different like scenarios and ways of looking at it, that's because they've been through that experience a lot more than someone who may not necessarily have that much wisdom or knowledge about that circumstance. Wisdom comes from experiences. Knowledge comes from learning, reading, brushing up on logical type of concepts. Wisdom comes from going through experiences. So if you're a wise individual, or you've been told that you're wise, this is why people say you're an old soul, when they notice that you have wise characteristics about yourself. Because you literally have gone through a whole bunch of experiences for you to be able to gain that wisdom. And then people will say, oh, past lives aren't real. So how can a young person have more wisdom than someone who's been through a whole bunch of like 50, 60, 70 years of life? This is what I'm talking about. But that person who may look young is actually a lot older than the person who's been through 50 or 60 years in life. Not physically though, but obviously they've got wisdom from somewhere. You can't just pull wisdom out of your ass. This is what we're pointing to when we're talking about these characteristics and stuff like that. So you need to always look at things from that perspective, and then you'll be able to see life for what it actually is, rather than just getting lost into like man's concept of what things are and so on. I'm actually loving these, like a little earring thing, like that's cute. So I might even loop that, like you could loop it like that, and then boom. Yeah, I fuck with that. I fuck with it. Slay. Slay. Sorry guys, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little bit distracted. But those are cute. Let me know if you want to buy it. I so would buy this. I'm not even joking. And bitches may be like, oh, it's just a piece of twig. Bitch, it's a piece of twig. But it's a twist. And it's got that spiritual oomph behind it, Like, do you want that spiritual oomph? Do you want that indigenous flavor? Okay? Because that's what it really boils down to. It's got that indigenous flavor. It's got that mixture. It's got that beauty. It's got that love. It's got that caress. Finesse. Bish, bish, you know that I'm the best. Yes, yes. Slay, slay. You know that I'm not ready for the test. Don't mind me. I'm just doing me. So yeah. I can't remember what my last point was, actually. I'm gonna be real. Might need to go back and see what the point was that I was making. Let me see if I can remember it. So, oh yeah, I was talking about how you are a product of your choices that you've made in your life. Yeah, so, both things can be true at the same time. Yes, your circumstance may be making you feel and think and act in certain ways, but you have the choice always at the end of the day to walk out of that circumstance, regardless of what that might entail. But that's where a lot of people get lost, and they may think, oh, I'll just wait for things to calm down. I'll just wait for things to settle down, and then I'll do the thing that I know that I need to do in order to actually evolve and grow. But that gets to a certain point where it just snowballs. It just becomes even bigger issue. And you've seen this happen in your life if you're going through this circumstance, and if you can relate to what I'm saying right now. It just becomes a snowball effect where then next week you've got another thing that you're like, oh, well, I'll just wait for this thing to calm down, and I'll just wait for this thing to calm down, and then I'll be able to do this. But it's always going to end in that snowball effect at the end of the day. So you can just nip it in the butt, or you can just keep making up excuses. And that's what I say. Actions speak louder than words. Whether you want to admit it or not, your actions are showing that you actually love to experience whatever you say that you don't love to experience. So it's real, it's tricky when it comes to spiritual stuff and like self accountability, because a lot of people, there's certain stuff that unconsciously you're doing. You don't consciously sit there and think that you love this experience. You don't consciously sit there and think that you love to experience turmoil and negative circumstances. But what is your life showing you? Every week you have something. Or, every week, I'll give people grace. Every week may not necessarily, like every second day you have something, or every day you have something. There's always going to be something in your life that you can sit there and say, oh, this is happening. I can't do X, Y, and Z. But the point isn't for you to wait for something to not happen. That's how we get lost into shit, and that's how we get stuck into old cycles and not able to actually evolve and grow. The point is, regardless of what happens, regardless of what you go through, you have the ability and the willpower to overcome and do whatever it takes for you to actually pursue and go for your dream. So whether your circumstances looks like it can't support it at all, and you can only do 5 minutes a day of your purpose, or go do 5 things in a day that are in alignment with what you actually want to do. But as long as you don't do that, as long as you don't actually take those steps, how do you ever expect to ever get to the end goal, the end steps? It takes you to go through those first steps. And then, like I said, there's always going to be something. People will swear up and down that, I'm a product of my circumstances. Oh, I can't do X, Y, and Z. But there's always going to be something, regardless of what perspective you look at it, regardless of what that thing is, regardless of how bad or how good that thing is, there's always going to be something. So, that's a harsh truth that a lot of people don't want to hear. A harsh truth that a lot of people will just be like, well, you don't understand. You don't know what it's like. I do know what it's like. Otherwise, I wouldn't be up here talking about all the stuff that I'm talking about. That's why you don't have a video, you don't have a channel, or you don't talk about certain stuff like this on your channel, but I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have a certain talking point to even come up and say certain things. For me to even go through certain thought processes, to put pen to paper, or video to screen, or whatever you want to call it, for me to actually get to this point where I'm like, okay, yes, I'm gonna do this. Okay. So, you need to look at things as they are, not as they appear. Because reality will try to put you this illusion of so many different things that you may use as reasons and excuses, and it really doesn't matter. None of it matters. And this is what people talk about when they say you really need to disconnect, separate from your reality, and not let your reality override how you're thinking and feeling. The mind is where the power is at. So if you change your perspective and you change the way you think, then you change your life instantly. Not instantly. It takes time. Things take time. But you change your life. As soon as you start to change your perspective, you'll change your life. And this goes into so many layers. But people will be like, oh, well, yeah, they'll agree with it. And they'll be like, yeah, as soon as you change your perspective, you change your life. But not with this circumstance, though. Oh, but not with this part of my life, though. And no, I will say this now, baby. Baby. It is most definitely that circumstance that you think it is not. So, like when people think that, well, I hear certain things and they'll be like, oh, no, this guy's not talking about my circumstances. This guy's not talking about my life. This guy's not talking about what I'm going through. Yeah, baby. It is definitely about that. It is always most definitely about that. So, look at things as they are, always. Otherwise, you're just looking at the illusion of what reality tries to show you, and then you're not actually having the awareness or the um, what is it? Self accountability that is needed for you to actually go through certain stuff in your life and actually pursue the dreams and goals that you actually want to see. Because a lot of people that want to pursue their dreams, you guys will be hanging around with a whole bunch of people that down other people's dreams that are pursuing something that that you'd probably want to pursue too. Like you'd probably be thinking to yourself, oh yeah, like I don't necessarily think that they're gonna achieve that like how they think they are. So you'd kind of like give the other people around you the benefit of the doubt because you're like, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from because like, yeah, I don't really see that dream coming true. But yet deep down, you know that you're the one that actually would want to pursue something similar to how that person is pursuing it. But yet, because everyone else doesn't see that, because you guys are all lost into indoctrination and you guys are just stuck into old paradigms and old perspectives and old ways of doing stuff, then you'll kind of give other people the benefit of the doubt. But don't you realize the same way that those people are downing that person's dream, the same way that those people are not supporting that person's dream is the same exact way they won't support your dream and how you do things. Because just the way that they're lost into that paradigm and you are slightly lost into that paradigm of thinking that, oh no, this person probably won't be able to do that. This person probably won't be able to do that. They're going to do the same to you. But that's what I'm talking about. You wouldn't be able to even handle those kind of people in your life because you wouldn't be able to cope with the amount of people that you've been surrounding yourself with that actually would shoot down your dream the instant that you even tried to present it to them. That would like instantly diss your dream the instant you even tried to talk to people about it and open yourself up. And that's not for you to get into your ego and be like, well, these people should support me. These people should blah, blah, blah. No. Well, maybe you should realize who you're hanging around with. And those people may not necessarily be the type of people that are going to help to nourish the soil that you need to actually help your dreams and your goals to flourish. So it's like real shit right here. Like most people won't even want to hear this. They'll be like, oh no, I don't want to hear this. This is too triggering for me. Or you'll just be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Whatever it may be. Like there's so many different. I can see it all. I can see it all, because I'm wise. Like I know what perspectives other people will get from watching my videos. I know how other people are going to think from watching my videos because I've seen it in my real life. I've seen people completely go against this in my real life. And I'm not here to sit here and argue with them, try to convince them to think the way that I think and get up onto here and talk about my perspectives. Because I know the only people that are going to listen is people that are in a similar space. There's no point in convincing people that are not even in that space because you haven't even been that type of circumstances that I've been through for me to get up on this video and talk about the things that I'm talking about. You haven't even been through the certain thought processes and the certain feelings that I've gone through in order for me to know that this is something that I want to pursue as a dream and as a goal and as something that I'm passionate about. So I wouldn't even take half of these people's opinions. So it's like real funny how a lot of people will think that they know about something or whatever, but really the average person, nine out of 10 people are lost into the world these days. They're lost into validation they're lost into old beliefs and bullshit that the shadow government and the white man, which is just another way of saying the shadow government, tries to put them in, aka these magic squares, because they say you can only do this like this, you can only do this like this, you can only pursue your dreams like this. But at the end of the day, humans create statistics. You can either become a statistic or you can create a statistic. And majority of people are in the position of becoming statistics. So they're going to become something that's listed under X, Y, and Z that the shadow government created for you to be in as a box, as a concept, as a magic square. But there's people out here that's actually wise and actually knows what they're doing, and we're the type of people that actually don't give a fuck about what people are going to think, don't give a fuck about how people are going to react, and we just do it anyway. And this is like the difference between people who may make content, and you don't have to be a content creator to be in the space, but a lot of people who are content creators have jumped into the space themselves. You know, you may not, you may give a fuck about too many different things, aka you're tied up, you've got too many ties, too many restrictions, too many things that's tying you to an old way of believing, an old way of being, an old perspective, an old way of living in your life. And therefore, you're not ever able to branch out and expand and grow into a new butterfly, So you just stay as that old caterpillar. It's like that. As well, that reminds me of this thing I saw a while ago. You can't speak butterfly language to caterpillar people. And the thing with a lot of people these days, majority of people are caterpillar people. And then you've got butterfly people, or people who speak butterfly language, but may not necessarily be butterflies yet, trying to get all the caterpillar people to be on their side, to be on their perspective. Bitch, you need to get with more butterflies. Why would you try get a whole bunch of caterpillars to get into your to become butterflies? Like if they wanted to become a butterfly, they would have been a butterfly. But just the fact that they're a caterpillar, it just shows they're choosing to be a caterpillar. They're choosing to stay in a caterpillar way of being, in a caterpillar life, in a caterpillar perspective. Get a whole bunch of caterpillars. Okay, we're good on YouTube. Let's check on YouTube to see how we were on YouTube. So yeah, a lot of people won't even want to hear this shit. A lot of people won't even want to listen to this shit. And that's fine by me. I don't even mind, because at the end of the day, especially on Facebook, a lot of people on Facebook are caterpillar people. And, I'm not stereotyping, because I know there's good and bad people everywhere. And there's actually a lot of people on Facebook that actually do come to my videos and like my videos and so on and so forth. But there's also a lot of people, even on YouTube too, that are caterpillar people. And, if you're sitting around wasting your time talking and associating with a whole bunch of people that are in caterpillar mentality, that are in caterpillar life, bitch, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to become more and more like a caterpillar. It's not the other way around majority of the time, where you think that those people are going to become more and more like a butterfly. A lot of the time, they're just really good people that know how to, they're really good caterpillars that know how to make themselves look a lot like a butterfly. Okay, they're stuck in limitations and old paradigms, but they know how to make themselves look free. They know how to make themselves appear like they're more free and carefree and open and evolved as spirits. So you got to be really aware of people out in these streets. This is why a lot of people get misused, abused, manipulated, because